Hi there friends, thanks for joining me. Today I am going to show you how I created a layout for the Hip Clip Club using the September kits. I'll put my teeth back in now. The main feature of the layout is this fringed heart. I have been really keen on making one of these fringed hearts for a while. Never quite got around to it. And the papers in the September kit seemed absolutely perfect for this sort of project. They feature mainly the Marigold collection from Crate Paper. So pretty soft colours, and this one I think was in the paper kit, which was the Heidi Swap old school. So I've cut out, as you can see, some of the fringes already. And I'll just show you how I made the last one. So my fringe strips are about 2 inches wide, tall, whichever way you look at it. And I've used a pair of scissors that I got from a DIY store here in the UK quite some years ago. I think they're intended to shred sensitive documents. So if you don't have a shredder, you could shred it with these scissors. Obviously never used for that, they were used for craft purposes. I think there are 4 prongs, must be 5 prongs on the scissors. And you use them like normal scissors, except it will cut 5 times at once. You could achieve the same effect with normal scissors, it would just take a little bit longer. So just carefully move your paper along, and the most important thing as you do is to create an even amount of strips so that they kind of match up with the scissors. And it's not actually that difficult to do. You might need a little bit of practice first to get the spacing right, but I found it quite easy to make that look very even. So I've now got enough to cover the top half of that heart. So I did toy with the idea of making an ombre kind of sequence, but it became too heavy with that mustard colour. So I went with my original plan of a bit random. It might be really nice if you had, like, say, all pink colours, so they're all tone on tone. But I think there was quite a mix within the main kit this month of colours. That's where my tape runner gives up on me. Oh, dog's awake. So I might get interrupted by a dog. So now I've got all those lined up. So I actually created my heart template by hand. So just folded a piece of paper over, drew the heart and then cut that out. You can see I made a bit of a boo-boo, took some white card out of my stash, and then realised actually I needed that card because it's got labels on there. So I'm just carefully cutting out the excess now around that heart. Take your time so that you're not catching some of the fringe from where it shouldn't be, because they can move about. So if you take your time, hopefully we'll get a nice neat finish. Yeah, look pretty good. So just cut out the excess in the middle. I really enjoy these sort of projects, these paper piecing projects, because I do think they add something unique to the page. I'm guessing you can buy similar things. I know Crate Paper had butterflies in the same sort of way, so but I do think when you make them yourself, they're not going to be the same as anybody else's. In fact, it's given me an idea. I think we'll do that one next because I really enjoyed the process. So I'm just going to continue cutting around those. Actually, the photo I'm using for this layout is really old. My kids are all teenagers and quite reluctant to go in front of the camera nowadays, so I'm having to rely on really, really old photos. Apparently I traumatised them as children. I did take a lot of photos, to be fair, and they were more pliant in those days. So I had a little gap in the middle where the centre of the heart came below the fringe. That's the missing bit. I don't know why I didn't use that bit. But anyway, I'm looking for a piece now that I can patch that centre piece where it's gone a bit bold. So I'll take one of those pieces and trim it down. It depends on your pattern paper, really. You might have some difficulty with some elaborate papers. This was quite easy. The other alternative is to make sure that centrepiece doesn't fall below to where your fringe is, and then that will stay in place. It's not too difficult to patch though, so either way. So just finding the right piece, and I'll actually go to the effort of trying to line up those diagonals as well. I need to get out more. I wonder why everything takes so long. So I think I'm happy with that. I'll just keep that in place. And then I've also got a piece missing on the left-hand side, which I'll need to patch up too. Just where it's caught the edge. On the right-hand side is where my photo's going, so I'm not too worried about that side. Absolutely adore the Crate Paper collections all the time. I mean, I don't know if they've ever brought out a bad one, but they are one of my favourites. And I'm not really a mustard person, but I have to say the mustard in the last few collections have been really sweet. Really enjoyed it. I think they're really easy to use. I think that's the key thing for me, actually. I find them very easy to use. So that's about it. Then I'm just going to trim off that middle piece. So when I finished this heart, I found it needed something to define the edge a little bit. So I think I've sewn all the way around the outside. It's a bit tricky because obviously you've got the fringes to consider. But if you take your time on your sewing machine, you'll find that it wasn't that hard. Just trying to fill in the gaps. So I'll come back then after I've done the sewing and show you the next piece. So there it is. I've sewn the around the edge. I just took my time and just went in one direction. So started at the top and worked to the bottom. Just so I didn't get tangled up with the fringes at all. But you do end up with lots and lots of threads. As I say, I really thought about using the September sketch as my design for this page. It's a really pretty sketch by, I think it was Embellishment. She had the heart in the bottom right hand corner, so I've kind of flipped it and adapted it and kind of loosely based my layout on that sketch. And then for the verticals then I've also sewn on the background. This is when my daughter was all sweet and like, she's a teenager now, did I say? Don't know if she's not watching. She won't be. She'll be on the TikTok somewhere doing something pointless. Oh, if you've got a teenage girl, a 16-year-old girl, then you probably know what I'm talking about. Okay, so back to it. I've fussy cut some of the flowers from the marigold paper, and we also got this fabulous gold puffy sticker set in the September kit. Came with the main kit, I believe. So I'm going to be using some of those. I do have to faff around here a little bit, but I'm going to use all the lovely flowers and leaves that came in the September kits to create a flowery focal point. And I want layers basically, so I want to feel like there are lots of different types and layers. So it takes a little time just to come up with an arrangement, as it always does. But you can see those gold puffy stickers. Oh, I have to say, they are just my favourite thing. So Kimberly, if you're watching, we'll have more of those, please. I think there must be a thing from American Crafts, and they've sort of done quite a few recently. But yeah, I'll happily have more and more of those. I find them really easy to use. So I'm just playing with the arrangement, as I say. It takes a little bit of time. Ooh, puffy stickers. So I think that's the fab thing about them, is there are so many in a set. So you get loads, and I've already used loads, as you can see, but there's so many in there. So I'm just deciding whether that bow's too much, because I really want to use the bow. I might live to fight another day for sure. So I think I'll need to stick down because everything keeps moving about too much. So, the first thing I want to do is actually just add a little bit of ink to the edges of the heart. I'm using Victorian Velvet Distress Oxide ink, just to give it a little bit of an edge, which I've managed to do off camera. Oh, yeah, here I am. I like a paint at Dauber, so I got this little set off eBay, I think it is. But they're great for, so you can have one for each colour in your ink set, and they're great for just edging around a piece like this. So I think these little details actually do, add to the final look, although, you can barely see it. I think when you actually see the piece in real life, it does give a little bit more definition. So I've just speeded up the next portion because I will just be sticking down and probably moving things around 10 times, as I always do. I'm mounting my photos onto a bit of foam just to give a bit of height. So I like the main photo to be a little bit higher than the supporting photo. Excuse me, frog in my throat. You can see I am arranging some of those gold puffy stickers. I did part with a couple of them eventually, but I do think that adds depth then to that flower cluster, which I really, really liked. And then I'm going to stick some of the flowers down, and then I've mounted some on foam tape just for a bit of height, and arranging those leaves. I think the leaves play a really important part to the flow of the cluster. So, not everyone's keen on leaves. We had these lovely cardstock stickers from Pink Fresh Studio in the embellishment kit, I believe. And I haven't actually used many at the moment, so I wanted to tuck a few of those in, which look great, I think, with the flowers. And there's my title then from the gold puffy stickers again, and I'm just going to add in some of those gold hearts. I kind of really went to town with the puffy stickers. I think this will be my last layout using the September kit, so I feel like I can go to town. And I've still got loads and loads left, so I will definitely be doing more layouts with it. So just adding on some of the fabulous cardstock stickers. So that's more or less it. I'll leave you with some final photos and close-ups. I really enjoyed this layout. September kits are just fantastic, as always. But I love the mixture of the Crate Paper Marigold and the Pink Fresh Days of Splendor. Oh, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to check out all the videos on the Hip Kit Club channel. My name's Morag, and thank you very much for joining me. See you soon. Bye.